Hi, I'm Reed. I'm a fourth year undergrad majoring in psychology and minoring in women and gender studies and Catholic studies.
Hi, I'm Abby. I'm a fourth year psychology student, and I'm minoring in Catholic studies and creative writing.
Hi, my name is Phoom, and I graduated from CLU in 2024. But I've been teaching a teaching assistant for Dr. Hista's class for 2 years now.
So we all took Dr. He's 6-month statistic and research methods course, and then the following year we all became his teaching assistants for this class. So the class applies the foundational methods of social science and statistical methods of research and design to report on a research topic with an ethical and collaborative lens.
Yeah, so Dr. He simply invited his students to choose the environment as a main focus for their research, as it is our common home, right? And he also brought in scholars from the environmental field to help better support students in their research. Abby and I got to closely work with Yolanda and Dr. Hayes.
So here's a list of the students and their environmental research. You can see that in the 2024, there were only 4 groups out of 7 groups, or about 57% that engaged in the environment topic. But interestingly, in 2025, 7 groups out of 9 groups, or 78% engaged in the environmental topics.
Okay, so our study is a follow-up from our research project in Stats with Dr. He. We investigated how environmental framing impacts hope, well-being, anxiety, and guilt. And by environmental framing, I know that's an interesting word, we mean our treatment condition in which we randomly assorted participants into 3 groups. So the first group read about a problem with the climate crisis. The second group read about the problem, but then also read about a solution. And the third group was a control group.
Yeah, findings contrary to our hypothesis actually revealed the solution group had higher levels of anxiety than the problem and control group. One interpretation we had was the majority of our demographics were students, and having to add an additional task onto their already set routine and busy routines to mitigate climate change may have increased their anxiety. Another interpretation is participants within the problem group may have been able to dissociate themselves from the problem of climate change. In addition, about 60% of participants responded that they'd engage in pro-environmental behaviors after completing the survey, suggesting that surveys may actually be able to prompt pro-environmental actions.
So moving to my study from 2 years ago, we investigated the effects of all on well-beings and the full belief systems. And our research questions were, what's the effect of all on well-being? And the second research questions were, what's the effect of all on the full belief systems? So for our research design, we had 2 randomized groups. The first one was the experimental group that watched an awe-inducing video for 2 minutes. And the second group was the control group that watched a neutral video for 2 minutes. Our result suggests that there was no evidence of the significant difference between the well-being and the full belief system among the 2 groups. However, we saw a slight increase in the well-being for people who were in the experimental group.
So, the original inspiration for our research stems from all of us having relatives or parents involved in different environmental fields. But I feel that the statistic and research class taught by Dr. He allowed students to explore and engage scientifically with environmental topics, which then allowed us to carry on the legacy of environmental work.
One thing I learned from attending a school with such strong beliefs and goals in environmental justice and fostering care for our common home is how interdisciplinary environmental issues are. They intersect with so many different fields, including my major, both my minors, and it's so important, and as Dr. He has exemplified, pretty easy to incorporate it into our academics.
So I think the environment topic is one of the most crucial topic these days. And just like we said that this subject or topic can be studied interdisciplinarily. And in Buddhism, we consider nature as a sacred place because that's where we find our inner self, and that's where we experience the world. And just here, just my uncle in Thailand, and he's building a temple in Thailand. And as a Catholic studies minor and as a Buddhist, I think that the late Pope Francis call to care for our nature is not just a call for Catholic people or Buddhist people, but it's a call to all people. Thank you.